We're good. Let's go ahead and start if y'all are ready. And y'all can both start off to like telling us a little bit about you. If I can get my lighting right. Golden. A little bit about you guys, what you do, and just tell us about yourself.
You go ahead and start. I'm gonna see if I can get Facebook Live up. So.
Okay. Well, we can wait if you want to wait for Facebook Live, man.
I'm doing it right now.
We haven't ever done it, so he can figure it out. But let's see. Well, we'll wait, I guess.
Yeah. We can wait for Facebook Live. That's no problem. I'm
in
no rush.
Did it last time?
Well, you go to your. You can go to the video. You can probably do it on your phone then.
Yeah, have you ever done Facebook Live from the computer before?
I've never done it from the computer. I always do it from my phone. All my Periscopes and Live and all that stuff is always from the phone.
Yeah, I'm just running Blab from the phone, so.
I'm going to go ahead and Periscope this from the phone.
I guess you could run Facebook Live from your phone.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, it's not on, so you need to. Oh, I brought the plug up here.
So we're doing it under determine your worth?
Can you do it that way?
I think so.
Then yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just do it. Click it. Okay.
Wow.
With everything. McCoy, yeah. Yep. Yeah. And you okay. We're going live here now.
Beautiful. And I'm going to actually get Periscope going right here.
You got it?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe. I hate
Here,
your face.
open it up. There you go. Okay.
All right. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
We're
We're going
good.
to make sure that we're in both frames. So.
We're in business.
Okay.
So for Facebook, we're live. We're on a Blab right now with Whit McCoy. And if you have topics you want us to talk about, then just let us know. And we'll be just talking about fitness, health, and how we got here.
That's right. So let's start off with you guys. Let's hear your story.
Okay, well, we've been together for a year now. So before that, I am from Montana. That's where I grew up. I went to college there to be a speech language pathologist. So that's what I do now full time. That's my big girl job, I guess. And let's see, a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, I moved to Seattle and started a job there. And that's where Brad and I met. We met through Tinder, which is an online dating app for people that don't know. But usually people on Tinder don't stay together because it's kind of like a hookup app. But we've lasted. And so we just, we love fitness and health and nutrition, and that is not our full-time jobs, but just a passion of ours. So I'll let Brad talk about just, how that changed us, and I guess.
Well, I can get my background too. But she's still doing speech language pathology. She's working for the school district, so she has the summer to play, I guess, a little bit more than some of us do. Right. But so I was stationed out in Bremerton, so it's right across the Puget Sound from Seattle. And like I said, we met on Tinder. I was at that point. I knew I was getting out of the Navy, so I had a lot more free time. Anyone that's been in the military knows when you're out processing, and you're going through TAPS, your command doesn't really need you for much, and so I had a lot of free time. So I spent a lot of time in Seattle with Aubrey when we met, and then about 3 months after we met. I had interviewed for a job, got a job down here in Houston, and she decided that she was coming with me. So
I didn't just up and decide this. He asked me, and I was like, "Yeah, of course."
Yeah, that's how it happened. But we moved to Houston, and I'm doing engineering. So that's what my degree was in from UF, and so I'm still doing engineering, but I've always been into working out. Started when I was probably like 16, working out in our garage gym that my dad had with him. And then, in college, working out with people that probably we honestly had no idea what we were doing. And that's kind of why I do what I do now, is because you see a lot of young kids that don't know anything about the dieting aspect of it, or don't understand workout routines and stuff like that. And I feel like if someone would have grabbed me when I was 18, 19, 20 and could have given me that knowledge, I would be leaps and bounds ahead where I'm at now. Because just in the last 3 years, when I've really understood the nutrition aspect, it's crazy how much I've changed.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
Aubrey's the same way. I mean, she did CrossFit for 7.5 years, and in this last year that we've been together, and what I know and then what she's learned, like I could show you a 1 year transformation, and you'd be like, wow, she was in good shape, but now she's in amazing shape. And really it's a lot of it's just diet changes. So.
Awesome. So you got a YouTube channel that's building a lot of traction, right? And you guys provide a lot of value to the marketplace. Tell me about your intention behind your YouTube channel, and tell me about what goals you guys have set when it comes to the fitness industry.
That's a good question. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of different answers. Just because we have a lot of hopes and we have a lot of, dreams that I guess right now is just trying to reach as many people as possible who need motivation, who need information. I feel like the fitness industry right now is very competitive and secretive, and a lot of people just have information and don't give it out freely. And it's like, why not just give? Because we've seen that the more that we give to people, the better we feel. But I guess they see changes too. Information is free, so why not just give it out?
Yeah, I told someone the other day, I said the greatest joy I can get is helping someone change their lives, like seeing them transform themselves, seeing them happier with their body and stuff like that. So we've done a macro video that kind of just breaks down basic macros. We've done healthy food videos, which I was just telling you about. We've done donuts so far, and then just today we did corn dogs. Aubrey loves corn dogs, so we did corn dogs.
We had to do corn dogs, but
yeah, we actually are going to try to ask people what they want to see. We have some other things we can do, but in general, like, we want to be challenged, like, hey, make a healthy version of this, so that we can, because no one asked us about corn dogs. We're just like, hey, let's see if we can make a healthier version of corn dogs.
Right, and you did it.
Yeah, we did. The ones we found later on were like 280 calories. So, I mean, you can pretty much eat 3 of ours for one beer.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So there's this guy I'm working with. Shout out to Frank. And he says, it's funny because it's in alignment with what you guys say. It's like they're withholding, a lot of people withholding information. And Frank says, provide the world with your golden nuggets and it will repay you with diamonds. And it's just like, just provide value to people, and whatever those diamonds are to you, if that's somebody hitting you up and saying, Brad and Aubrey, you guys changed my life. You guys taught me how to eat right. I was killing myself in the gym, and now I'm just dieting right and I'm eating right, and it's made a huge change in my life. Like, thank you. Like, that could be your diamond. You know what I mean? Or or if it's just having a client or whatever. But I think what's powerful about us is we're both in alignment with like just providing value and creating impact in people's lives and helping people become better. And that in itself is what creates massive success, you know?
Right.
So I want to hear your perspective on women dieting and like common misconceptions with women working out and exercising, and how do you address those when women approach you with that?
Yeah, well, I was just gonna roll off of what you said, because another big passion and reason why we're doing these videos, at least for me, is I've been through the eating disorder, the dieting, the exercising yourself till there's nothing left. You know, I've done pretty much everything you could do as a woman to try to lose weight or get fit or just be better. And so when I see women who are doing fad diets or basically they're doing everything except for eating right and exercising daily, when I see them not doing that, it makes me sad. Like I just want to reach out to them. And so this is a good way to do that. I guess it's a loaded question when you want to talk about women and fitness and health, because I think a lot of what is popular right now is just that quick fix. Mm-hmm. How can I, especially in the last like 2 months, because we're leading up to summer, what I saw with women is, oh gosh, panic mode. What can I do right now to get at least 10 pounds off me or my beach body so that I can just be comfortable in a bikini for this summer? I know what it's like to be at that point, and you go into that panic mode, and you're eating, I don't know, 300, 500 calories a day and exercising your butt off. And I just, that's not a lifestyle change. That's just going for the quick fix. And maybe it's worked once for a woman, but it's not maintainable. There's no longevity. And so I think I would want to teach women that you can have the body that you want all the time. Mm-hmm. You know, you
can still eat like
what you want to eat.
Yeah, what you want to eat.
Right.
Without restriction.
Right. So I think that's like something like we legitimately have waffles every morning for breakfast.
Me too.
Waffles or pancakes. And at night we both eat a pint of ice cream. So I know it's not Ben & Jerry's, but it's Halo Top or Arctic Zero. And like mine, obviously, since I have more macros to play with, and I usually have even extra stuff in them, you know.
Right.
But that, like, I just want people to understand that, like, you don't have to eat salad with chicken on it and eat 600 calories to lose weight. You know, there's other ways to do it, but it's not going to be quick. And if you are willing to invest that small amount of time, when you really think about how long your life is, like, even if you're, 100 pounds overweight, and you say, okay, in 2 years, I'll be where I want to be. In 2 years, you can lose that weight. It'll be off, and you'll be in a healthy place that now for the rest of your life, you're set, you know? And if you just take the average person, you say you're 20 pounds overweight, 6 months, do it over 6 months, do it slowly. And you're not killing yourself, and you're going to have a sustainable thing that you've done. And you can still enjoy those things like cookies and ice cream and all the stuff like that you might think that you can't eat when you're dieting. But.
Right. So let's go a little more into macros then, because I'm sure a lot of people are like, well, how in the world can I do that? They're saying I don't have to do 500 calories. I can eat what I want. And I guarantee you, when they watch this on replay or who watching on Periscope, Facebook Live, they're probably like, how in the world can I do that? How can I eat those things? They're saying I can do all this stuff, and I do that stuff, but I'm not losing weight. So let's go a little bit more into macros, how you track them, how you establish accurate macros that work for you, and how you create a sustainable lifestyle in doing that.
So before we even talk about macros, I just want to point out that I know I said that I've tried a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
So that means I've also tried a lot of different diet things. Like, you know, I'm a past CrossFitter, so of course I've tried paleo diet. I've tried the zone. I've tried just eating clean, less calories, you know, counting calories. And 7 months ago, I didn't know what macros were. I mean, Brad had talked about it a little bit, but I had no clue how to even track them. So for those of you who might be thinking the same thing, it's a little bit difficult at first, but
Right.
after that, you're kind of set. And you can mess around, play around with it as you go. So that, just before we even start talking about macros, that's kind of just what I wanted to say. It's the easiest thing I've ever done, and it works the best out of anything I've ever tried.
A really good point, because like even Brad and I were talking yesterday about how like doing previous competitions and shows, and we weren't doing necessarily macros. We were taught eat 6 times a day, make it chicken, tilapia, rice, brown rice, white potato, sweet potato, and a little bit of vegetables, and do it 6 times a day, and it was just like killer. Like, and then after the shows, we were like just binging, gaining crazy weight, because we were just like craving all of this food that we didn't have access to for the 6, 8, or 12 weeks, depending on what your contest prep time was. So, but counting your macros, man, you're right. It takes a little trial and error. So like, just understand what we tell you guys today. It may not be perfect for you, but what it takes is playing with it consistently for maybe a couple of weeks, tracking your weight, seeing if it's rising or dropping, and seeing how you feel. That's really big. How do you feel on your macros, and making slight adjustments depending on how you feel. So did you want to add anything, Brad?
Yeah, so a couple of things. One, going back to what we were talking about, the competition diet. If I told you, you know, hey, you can't eat ice cream for the next 4 months, even if you didn't like ice cream, you know, soon you're going to be like, man, I really want some ice cream. Just because I told you it's off limits. It's like a forbidden fruit, right? Yep. So macros makes it so nothing is really off limit. If you want to eat those donuts, or you want to eat that cookie, you might have to make sacrifices as far as what other foods you can eat throughout the day, but that food's not off limits to you. So that's like one huge plus to macros. If you really want to go into how to calculate them, we have a YouTube video that goes super in depth, in my opinion, on how to create the macros for you. How to find maintenance, how to find surplus, how to find deficit. Like if you want to gain weight, because there's a lot of guys out there that, you know, want to gain weight, and it's not really about just feeding your face. And all those guys that say, hey, I can't gain weight, like you really just probably need to look into your macros, because you're probably just not eating as much as you think you're eating. But we can talk about real quick here is essentially just quick math. You take about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Lean pound of body weight really is what it should be, but you can just do just rough math, 1 gram per pound of body weight. So we're talking about a girl now, and she weighs 135 pounds. So we'd say 135 grams of protein is how much she needs to eat. And every gram of protein is 4 calories. So you take that number, 135, you multiply it by 4, you get 540. So that's 540 calories now that you've allotted for your day is your protein intake, which is 135 grams of protein. Then, you know, you have to really figure out at that point what's your maintenance calories, like where you're at as far as I need to gain weight, lose weight, or stay the same.
This is the hardest part, and this is why it takes some experimenting, especially for women. I feel like a lot of women have asked me, well, I don't really know how much I burn in a day. You know, how am I supposed to know that? And so you kind of just have to start somewhere, and that's what I did. I got a set of numbers for carbs and fats and proteins, and then I kind of found out that that didn't really work for me. Maybe I gained a couple pounds, so we, cut some things down. Thankfully, Brad knows a little bit more than I do about macros, and so he was able to help me. But that's the biggest thing that I could tell women or men is just start somewhere. And really pay attention to how your body reacts, because not everybody's the same. And that's why macros is so great, is because I have a different number set than maybe someone sitting next to me who's the same body fat percentage, female, same weight, and she just reacts a little bit differently to more or less fat or more or less carbs. And so you literally can do whatever you want.
That's 100% accurate.
But so quick math on that. So say you need to eat like 1,600 calories a day. You take that 1,600 calories, you take off what you've allotted for protein, which is 540. So now you're left with 1,060 calories. 25% or so of your total caloric intake should be from fat. Just quick math. So that's about 400 calories of that 1,600 need to come from fats. 9 calories per gram of fat. So you take 400 divided by 9. That's how many grams of fat you should eat, which I can't do that math in my head.
But you're dropping nuggets, and they get the point.
So 40 divided by 9, so 40 divided by 10 would be 40 grams. So it's probably like 45 grams of fat. And then, so now the rest that's left, which is just over 600 grams of carbs, which 4 calories again per gram of carbs. So you divide that by 4, now you have 150 carbs. So just figure it out. A female that needs to eat 1,600 calories is going to eat 135 protein, 150 grams of carbs, 45 fat. You do that for 2 weeks, measure yourself every day, you trend your weight, you gained a pound. Well, you need to come off that by probably decrease it by your overall calories by probably 150 or so a day, and then tweak those numbers again.
We kind of always give it a 2-week trial period. So if you're going to start somewhere, give it 2 weeks.
And then you got to stick with it too. You can't fluctuate all over the place on your macros. And so, you got to be strict those 2 weeks, hit your macros. But like I said, that doesn't mean you can't eat the donuts. It means you just got to count those donuts.
Yep.
But for tracking purposes, MyFitnessPal is great application because you can scan barcodes and it has stuff in there. But I have friends that still pen and paper track everything. They
love it.
Yeah. I used to do pen and paper. I do MyFitnessPal just now because it's easier. And like you were saying, Brad, you get to a point kind of where it's like you get in such a routine, you don't really need MyFitnessPal when you get to a certain level. And for those that aren't mathematicians like Brad, you can really just adjust it in MyFitnessPal to say like 40%, you know what I mean? And whatever, and adjust it, and it'll tell you how many grams of protein, fats, and carbs that you need on there. But that was that's incredible information because so many people don't understand that. So many people don't know that. That right there is the meat and potatoes of, people can take that and transform their lives just with that little bit of information right there, right?
Yeah. And that, it's kept a secret. There are trainers out there. There's trainers on Instagram that you pay $100 a month just to get that information. And we're like,
and that's all they're doing in the background.
It's there.
They're creating macros, just putting food into those macros and saying, here's your diet plan.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's another thing too. It's like I've had people approach me like, I want to do macros. I want a meal plan. And I say, but you don't understand. Your meal plan is still based on macros. It's just now I've told you what you have to eat. Right. So you're still eating macros. It's just structured for you. So I don't like doing that at all. Like I'll give people options and tell them, hey, if you need to find a meal that's this many protein, this many carbs, this many fats, you can eat something like this, eat something like that. But I don't like doing that because I feel like it just, it goes through the cycle with competing, like we're talking about, where it's like a clean, and then you can't handle it and you binge. And when you binge, like, I don't know, like when I was in competition, I'll tell you right now, I know some people are watching live on Facebook that have seen me eat when I was on competition. And it was like, I'm talking an 18-inch pizza by myself, followed by frozen yogurt, going out to Red Robin, eating 2 burgers,
Mhm.
5 baskets of sweet potato fries, and coming home and polishing off like half a tube of cookie dough and a pint of ice cream. Like, no, like seriously, over 3,000 calorie cheat meals, you know? And it became every 2 weeks. And it just like, you look at that and you say, well, if I was eating proper macros the whole time, those 3,000 calories could have been allocated over 2 weeks differently. Then that would have been almost another 200 calories a day, which is a pint of Arctic Zero ice cream every night. And then I probably wouldn't have felt like I needed to eat a pint of Ben and Jerry's ice cream with cookie dough. And
it just brings up a good point, especially for women. I'm talking about women again because I'm just so
Yep.
guys. But I think when you restrict, and when, just like what Brad said, there are people that just tell me what to eat. Tell me exactly what to eat and I'll do it. And I kind of shake my head at it because I get a little scared, especially for women. Being restricted, girl power, Lauren. Being restricted in your diet, it plays with your head, and I don't care who you are. It's a fact. I think when you restrict any kind of calorie, or maybe restrict a carb level or fat level, you're going to be wanting something else. You're going to be wanting to binge. You're going to be wanting or craving, those bad foods. So that's why I say pay attention to how your body reacts. If you're on 150 carbs and you're finding that for some reason you're craving candy, this is what happens to me. So that's why I'm referring to that. If I'm on less carbs, I usually crave candy. And so I've noticed that if I up my carbs, I don't have those cravings anymore. So girls ask me, how do I curb my cravings? I don't really have any, because I've gotten my macros to where my fat is good enough. It's high enough where I'm mentally sane. My carbs give me energy, and my protein is building muscle. So I don't know. I'm just caution women and men in general, I guess, to just stay away from restricting yourself from foods that you want.
Like you said, labeling some bad foods is a way to make you want it more, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So tell me what you guys do when, say, you go over on your macros, right? So you say you're supposed to have 2,800 calories. You kind of get crazy one day and do 3,200 calories that day. What do you do what do you do to compensate for that?
So like for example, on let's see, was that Monday when Lauren and Connor, who are watching this, came, we went to a place called the Grove Donuts, and we had total of, well, I guess 2.5, 2 croissant donuts each. And while we were waiting, they brought us out 2 more donuts that we split among us. That were just regular donuts. Well, they're not regular. They're like creme brulee and something else. They're ridiculous because we were having to wait so long. But those croissant donuts, like, I had no way of even guesstimating them. I've read online that they were like anywhere from like 500 calories to like 1,000 calories each.
And I'm actually I'm actually tracking my macros right now. Brad isn't. So I mean, yes, he cares still what he's putting in his body, but not as much as maybe I do right now, at least.
Well, I don't track mine to a T anymore. Like, I know in general, like, how much protein, carbs, and fats I've getting, because like my meals are the same every day in general. So I know where I'm at, and as far as like I know what to eat, and I'll still lose weight because I mentally kind of do the macros. So it's not nearly as precise as weighing all the food. But it's kind of like what we talked about. Mine's more of like where you aim to get to, but I've just been doing it for so long, I feel like I'm there.
So those donuts were obviously way over fat content and possibly over carbs for me. I don't know. But in one sitting, I was not full. We went and did a workout afterwards. So one suggestion is, if you're going to eat maybe more than you normally would, make sure that you're planning a big workout afterwards, not to burn off all the calories, but to use the food as fuel.
Yeah.
And that's how you should look at it.
And not just fuel for that body part, right? So if you're legs are your weak point and you eat a bunch of calories, like work your legs out, because if you're trying to lose weight, you're in a deficit, it's hard to build muscle. I would say almost impossible. But when you have those giant days like that, you're refeeding your body, you're giving it more calories to put to use to build that muscle. So work out those lagging or weak body parts. So one suggestion as far as that goes.
Yeah, plan a big workout around it, which is something that we typically do when we eat big like that. But the other thing is, yeah, you can kind of adjust the rest of your day around that. So what we did was, I think we ate
lunch was
a salad.
Did we have egg whites too?
Yeah, so we ate things like egg whites, chicken, lettuce, really clean stuff the rest of the day. And for me, I didn't really track the rest of the day because there's no point. I don't even know how many of those donuts would have. So,
right.
And then you just start over the next day and you don't feel guilty about it because you know that those calories are going to be burnt up. You had a good time eating them. You were with friends. It's like, whatever.
Yeah, I know some people will disagree, and yeah, good job. Eat that Arctic Zero. I'm going to eat mine after this. Some people will disagree and say, hey, you can, cut 200 calories from the next 6 days and make it up. And, that's a method to do, but I just caution people that are in a deficit to do that because they may find themselves in a cycle where they cut 200 calories for 6 days and then all of a sudden the 7th day comes back around and all of a sudden that Saturday now is their cheat day and they just do this untracked macro cheat day. I feel like macros, you really can honestly be able to fit just about anything into your macros. I mean, on your birthday, on Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever, should you really be tracking your macros? I mean, unless you're in a show like coming up, then I think that you should probably just let it go. But
feel good about it. That's what I would like people to do is when you eat big like that, you shouldn't feel guilty. You should just, live in the moment. You decided to eat that food. So think back on it and be like, that was awesome. I did it. And now we're going to move on with our day. We're going to have a really good workout. We're going to eat really good things and feed our body, the next week. But
hold on a second. Hey, Martha, just a quick suggestion. Make sure you stir it really well. The chocolate chips will go to the bottom, and then the last waffle will have all the chocolate chips in it, and they get all the good stuff. Sorry.
You're good.
We have people commenting.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I just talking about, Brad had said it goes into that vicious cycle of you're trying to maybe cut down on calories the rest of your week, and then you end up where you were before, just wanting to binge on something bad again. And truly, that it resembles an eating disorder. That's disordered eating. So the more consistent that you can be, is at least what I've found. Consistency is key, and that's, I think, how I've seen so many changes in my body lately is because I'm not going through those cycles anymore of eating those really bad meals consistently, maybe every weekend.
So I guess to answer your question, plan a big workout around it.
Yep.
Don't feel guilty about it. I would say also you just keep it in moderation. I mean, could I have eaten a whole dozen by myself? Actually, I don't know. They were really rich. Maybe, though. I know Connor and I probably put a lot of donuts down together in our past. But, we kept it to 2 or 8 total that we split into 4, so we were able to try a lot more, stuff like that. So that's another way. But
I love that tip of planning a big workout around it, and you utilize your weak areas in your body to build with. Like that's
definitely.
So Aubrey, tell us about like women working out. Do they need to work out differently than men, or like how does that look?
All right. Do women need to work out differently than men? Gosh, yes and no. I pretty much do the same things that Brad does, to be honest with you. Maybe some women would look at my body and say, it's too much muscle. I'm okay with maybe doing less weightlifting. I think that weightlifting is the number one thing that women should be doing versus cardio, or versus just cardio. Do women need to do cardio? Yes. I think that even more so than men, women need to be doing cardio. Brad could maybe touch on scientifically why our bodies are different like that. I personally love cardio and it makes me feel good, so that's why I do it. But do men need to do as much? I don't think so. They have more muscle mass and they're burning more calories throughout the day.
So I don't do cardio. Like, I'm not even gonna act like I do.
And you look amazing.
Yeah, so the reason though women have to do cardio, scientifically speaking, they can't burn all the glycogen stores in their body just by lifting weights, and it has a lot to do. Essentially, it's why a lot of women are better at endurance sports than men are, because the way their bodies use glycogen. And so carbs are stored as glycogen in your muscles. And so you need to deplete those stores in order to burn fat. But women have to do cardio to deplete those, and men don't, because men have, one, like you're saying, more muscle mass, so we can actually deplete those glycogen stores. And two, it literally just deals with a physiological difference. And as far as when to do cardio, before or after lifting, there's been a lot of study on that one as well. It depends on if you're in a fasted state and a not fasted state. In general, though, it really doesn't matter when you do your cardio. I would say after your lift is what I prefer if I'm going to do it. And it's just based on, you're kind of wearing yourself out while you're doing cardio, and I feel like it affects your lifts negatively. Mm-hmm. And two, once you've lifted, you kind of build your heart rate up, so you kind of can just like go into cardio already kind of warmed up. Yeah. As far as that goes. If you were going to do just like a 5-minute cardio session, then maybe you could do that before your lift. But in general, I think after the lift is always better to do.
Ultimately, to answer that question, and then Lauren, you asked if does weightlifting make women bulky?
Aha, good.
It's a joke. It's a joke because I know her, because she weightlifts and she knows that it doesn't make her bulky. But I think
good question for the people.
Yeah, it's a misconception. Weightlifting is, weightlifting builds muscle. Okay, muscle replaces fat. So when a woman says, I want to get rid of these goodbye arms, my legs are really big, I have fat knees, all those different things, I don't turn to cardio for the answer. Okay, I think it's weightlifting that should be the answer. And whether that's targeting certain muscle groups because you have weak areas, or it's something like CrossFit where you're getting a full body muscle, lifting workout. I just think that weightlifting is maybe a little bit more important than cardio, or just as important as getting your heart rate up and burning off that energy. So should we work out the same as men? I would. Who has a question? What are the best forms of cardio a woman can do, and what are your personal favorites? Okay, I'll hit that in 1 second. But to answer your ultimate question is, I think that women should do the same things that men are doing in the gym. Maybe we need to do a little bit more cardio, but I love cardio, so whatever.
And that includes like lifting heavy. That isn't just like
heavy.
Lifting the weights. I mean, if anyone watches Aubrey and I work out, like I don't slack off on her on the amount of weight she lifts. I mean, just the other day she deadlifted 275 twice.
What?
She did 265 once on squats on Tuesday when we were at the Alpha League gym. She puts up 55-pound dumbbells on incline dumbbell press.
I lift heavy, but there are days that I lift light. So for the women that maybe don't have a spot all the time, or
they uncomfortable around that heavy of a weight,
they don't know what to do quite yet, then absolutely lift high reps and lower weight. That's just fine. But let's see, what are the best forms of cardio a woman can do? Gosh.
I think that also deals with time constraints. I will say that. Like if you
Yes.
only have 10, 15 minutes, like get hit in, get your
Yeah.
heart rate up, do box jumps,
High intensity.
but burpees, box jumps, do anything to jump rope, like just keep yourself moving, do intervals, take a quick breather.
There is value though in longer cardio.
Low intensity, steady state. Liz. Okay.
Yeah, low intensity is something.
Steady state. So walking on the stair climber.
So try to do both. If you have time constraints, then absolutely get your hit in for the 15 minutes a couple times a week, or and then make sure you're tying in those longer 30 to 40 minute, just moderate pace cardio type workouts. My personal favorites are, oh my gosh, I sit on the stair climber.
She loves.
I just love it. I love it so much.
I had a stair climber in my living room.
Yeah, I love it.
I mean, you girls can incorporate a lot of things too. Like if you kick your legs out afterwards, they can work. You can work your glutes and your hamstrings, so you can turn it into a little butt workout as well.
For
all, maybe the
Or
CrossFit.
for you too, Alex. I bet you probably do that. You kick your legs out in your living room.
Yeah.
Going on.
Yeah, you know.
Because I'm a past CrossFitter, I get really embarrassed that I say that I love the stair climber. But I do love doing a simple CrossFit workout, which really resembles like a Tabata workout or the interval training. So it's really similar. So I try to tie those in. So those are my favorite.
And the answer that too is like we went to a camp with the Warehouse Gym camp with Dalen Bailey and Rob Bailey. A lot of people should know they are. Yeah. And Dalen Bailey, people say, how do you get your shoulders to look that good? And she said, honestly, my shoulders are my favorite thing to work out. So that's why they look that good. So when you're walking around the gym and you're like, man, I wish I had that guy's arms. Or I wish I had that guy's back. You can go talk to him and he'll probably tell you the same workout you're doing right now. The difference is he loves doing that workout. So he might do it an extra time a week, or he just puts forth that extra energy. So when you're doing your back day and you're kind of like half-assing it through there, he's like pulling, squeezing, making sure he feels every muscle contracting, and that's why his back looks different than your back. So the truth is you have to, just like with that analogy, you have to find what you love doing in cardio. So if you find that you love rollerblading, then buy some rollerblades and do 20 minutes of rollerblading.
It's still cardio.
If you love jump rope, like go out there, make up some jump rope routine and like go crush it. And so really it's like find that thing you love doing. So maybe it's just putting on your headphones, listening to music, hood up, walking on the stairs. Maybe it's doing the elliptical, watching the Kardashians or something, you know. But you just got to find whatever you can just like when that 30 minutes is up or that 40 minutes is up or 10 minutes is up, you're like, man, that I can't believe that's already over. I can't wait to go back tomorrow. Yeah. When you fall in love with it that much, then, you know, people are going to be like, that weirdo is always doing cardio after the workouts, you know, so.
Yeah.
What's crazy is, and this is just what you're talking about with maximizing your workouts. I went paddleboarding like 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago for the first time ever.
Oh, yeah.
If you've ever been paddleboarding, you know, like it's easy when it's calm, but even if there's a little bit of wake, man, you're like in a squat and you're contracting all of your legs.
Yeah, you're literally, your ankles and feet are sore the next day.
Man, my hip flexors were so sore, I could not lift up my legs for like 3 or 4 days. It was so crazy. So that just goes to show, like, when you contract your muscles, when you maximize that workout, and when you do it, like when you really focus on that squeeze and the form, your workout is 100 times more effective. Yeah. I want to hear your response on this, Aubrey. What do you say when women say, you know, muscle weighs more than fat, and I don't want to get bulky when I lift the weights? What's your do people say that to you very often?
So like pretty much like how the scale, right? Like a lot of girls are like, they'll look at the scale and they'll focus a lot on that weight. Okay. Is that kind of what you mean? Like when you look down at the scale and like a girl used to be 120 pounds. She started working out, and she's obviously leaner, but now she weighs like 123, and she's freaking out.
There's a large misconception where women think muscle doesn't weigh more than fat. A pound of muscle is going to weigh the exact same as a pound of fat, right?
They're both
but
a pound of muscle, a pound of fat.
But there's a huge misconception with a lot of women. They feel like when they exercise, they're just going to puff up and like they're obsessed with a number on the scale, and that's the root of the issue.
Yeah.
Do you ever have women say that to you?
Oh gosh. Well, actually, I feel like my mom has said it the most. Actually, I haven't had a lot of women come up to me and say, I want to work out, but I don't want to be too bulky, or I don't need as much muscle as you. I've never heard that. I know it probably gets said. That's fine. But my mom actually is like, why don't you back off a little bit? Or, girls aren't supposed to be that muscly. And this is recently. So, I don't know. I guess I'm so far removed from that mindset that it's really hard for me to put myself there. Because I love being bulky. I love being muscular. But I guess, what do I say back to them? To each their own, I guess. If you don't want to be bulky,
it doesn't happen overnight. So it's not like you're gonna go to the gym once and you're gonna wake up and be like, oh my gosh, I have 21-inch arms. Because if that does happen to you overnight, like holla at your boy, because I need to know how you did that.
We want to know what you did.
Hit me up for trying to get those 21-inch arms. Yeah. But so
it doesn't happen overnight. It's taken me a lot of work, and so that's something I'm proud of because I put a lot of work into it. If you don't want to be bulky, I think you should still be lifting weights because it's good for your bone health. You're going to be 60 years old and thanking yourself for lifting weights when you were 20 or 25.
Speaking of that, today, a 7-year-old lady was working out with us in the gym, and she had just had quadruple bypass.
Yeah.
And she said, I wish I had my friends to go to the gym with, but most of them are dead now because they haven't taken care of themselves. And I'm lucky to have made it for my quadruple bypass, so I decided I'm coming to the gym now. So we did some back day workouts with her. I taught her how to do lat pull downs.
That's so awesome.
Stuff. But that's, I guess the thing is one, it's not going to happen overnight. So don't feel like if you start lifting, all of a sudden it's going to happen to you. And two, your idea of what bulky or big is probably going to change once you get more.
Yeah, I think if they saw the difference that building muscle makes in just how their body looks in the mirror, not how much they weigh, that's a whole different.
That's so true. Like and that's exactly what I say to my people too. Like, look, you're not going to get huge overnight, and as you grow and as your body adapts and changes, your mindset's going to change so much. And once you achieve that result of, say, they want to lose 30 pounds, once they lose that 30 pounds, what happens then? Their mindsets change, so they want to do something else, right? So once they've lost that 30 pounds, they're like, oh, well, I want to have abs now. And then once they have abs, it's like, oh, well, I want to do a show now. And then once they do a show, so their mindset's constantly evolving. And it's just a huge misconception of, you go to the gym and you lift weights, you're going to look like something crazy, and it doesn't happen like that necessarily.
No, I mean, if it did happen like that, I would have started a long time ago, but if it happened overnight, but
and that's another thing too, is I think once you get involved in the fitness world, your perception of those, that might change a lot, because to outsiders that don't work out and they look at Aubrey, they may say, man, her arms are big or her shoulders are big. But then we went to the Fit Expo in the Woodlands, Texas this last weekend, and there are girls there that make Aubrey look like she's never lifted a day in her life.
Right. It's all relative.
So it's all relative, right? They're what most people would probably define as bulky. I mean, chicks that do bodybuilding are a lot bigger. Girls,
I would probably, say back to them, well, I think you should still be weightlifting, because I don't think it's going to make as big of a difference as you think, maybe, in bulk. So it's not going to make you bulky. In fact, you'll probably feel more empowered, and you'll like the way you look, and stop caring so much about how much the scale is saying.
The truth is, you just got to do what makes you happy.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you live to make someone else happy, you're always going to be unhappy. So, if you look at those bodybuilding girls and you told them that they're bulky, they don't care because they don't care what you think. They're doing what makes them happy. So, I mean, people probably think that I'm too big, and I don't think I'm big enough.
Right.
So, the truth is, you really got to not worry about anyone else. And also at the same time, you can't ever wish to be someone else because you're never going to be just like them genetically, physically. So you can draw inspiration from certain people, like, man, I really like his arms. But don't ever say, I want his arms, because that's a goal that you'll never have.
You're going to have your own arms, but they're going to be better.
Right. Yeah. So, and if you put that ceiling on yourself that I want his arms, you limited yourself, in my opinion. You maybe could say, I want better arms than that, but don't ever, limit that. So it's just something else.
You recently got a shout out by a huge guy in the YouTube community, huh?
Yeah, it's, Christian Guzman.
Yeah,
Aubrey makes some pretty awesome donuts, and he liked them. So
let's hear about that. Haven't you worked out at his gym?
Yeah, we've been to his gym twice. Ironically, both times we went to Grove Donuts beforehand, and both times we did leg day.
Yeah, Alpha. So his gym, it's called Alpha Elite, and it's about 40 minutes south of us. So it's kind of far for maybe to go every day, but it's a warehouse gym. It's not air conditioned, which is beautiful. We love the sweat that you get there, and it's pretty small. So the community, I feel like, is really strong there. And for me, that's really important because coming from CrossFit, the community is always strong in a CrossFit gym. So finding a gym that's not CrossFit that also has a strong community, you've really won there. So we've been twice to Alpha Elite Gym, and the second time Christian Guzman just so happened to be there. And we had already met him on Saturday at the Fit Expo, which was, so we had just seen him a couple days before that. And so Brad had said, well, you're going to make protein donuts anyway. Why don't we just bring two to Christian just to say thank you? And, I don't know. He's an inspiration to us because he does YouTube videos. And so
he's awesome.
We just kind of wanted to say thank you and, just give him a protein
donut. I know
donut.
he's prepping for shows too, so it's not like he can eat whatever he wants. So we figured we'd give him some protein donuts that are, the macros on those things are amazing how it turns out, and they're really good. So we brought them, and he tried them while I was standing in front of him. He was like, these things are amazing. And in his YouTube video, even comments, he's like, man, those things were really good. I hope they weren't lying about those macros, like 20 fat. He put our YouTube channel up there. So
yeah, it was really awesome.
Yeah, we had quite a few people stop by and say that they were from his channel and they came to check out the donut recipes. So
that's so awesome, man. That's cool. I was watching his YouTube channel and the Online Fit Coach. I don't know if you guys follow him. I mean, is that his name?
The Online Coach, Raymond. Yeah.
Yeah, I was following him, and I'm like, man, those two guys, they're awesome, man, and they kind of inspired me to start a YouTube channel, just providing value and helping people and stuff like that. So I really respect those two guys and what they do. We've been on for like about an hour, so let's go. I want to hear y'all's your favorite foods, right? I want to remove the macros from it, right? Because I'm sure you can make a healthy version of it anyway. So I want to hear your favorite foods, and if there's been any specific questions on Facebook, I'm going to look through mine. If there's been any specific questions on Facebook, or if people are live on Facebook right now and want to ask questions, now is the time while you guys are saying what your favorite foods are.
Yeah, so I'll just say that again, just so to hear anyone on Facebook Live, if you have questions, shoot them up now. We're going to hit them after we go over our favorite foods. So I have to say that if we're talking about dessert, I love cookies and ice cream. In fact, like for my birthday, Aubrey made homemade cookies and put ice cream in the middle of them and froze them again. So like that's like an ice cream cookie sandwich is like my all-time favorite dessert. So I guess we could probably make healthy cookies and then throw Arctic Zero in the middle and probably crush it. So
what about like entree?
But like Food, I used to would have said like pizza, but same family, calzones. I love calzones now.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's like a pocket of goodness instead of having to like carry it around, you know. So when we first moved here, we went to this place called Nick's Place, and I ate a 5-pound calzone. In 2 minutes, I got my name on the board.
Yeah, he got like a record and he didn't even.
Oh my God.
He was just sitting there like eating and watching hockey, and all of a sudden the guys were like, "Well, did you eat that all by yourself? Let me take a picture of you." And Brad's like, "Okay." But
yeah, I got on this
Picture
wall
going
like the
everything.
second fastest time of anyone ever eaten it, and I was like watching this football game and eating this thing. I wasn't even paying it. I didn't know it was like a time thing.
That's hilarious.
But my favorites, I just love food, honestly. But I love
Corn dogs.
I love corn dogs. I love frosting. I love Skittles, like any kind of fruity candy.
Which I'm the opposite. I'm like chocolate, caramel, toffee, that kind of candy.
I love popcorn. I don't even know, pizza.
You
I
love
love it all.
food. So if you had to choose one entree and one dessert, what would it be?
I already told mine. I'd
Yeah.
eat calzones and then I'd eat cookie
Calzone.
ice cream.
Oh gosh.
Cookie ice cream. What about you?
I don't even know. Like cake with lots of frosting. Confetti cake?
What about ice cream cake?
No, I don't know. Cake. Definitely cake.
Yeah, Connor, how many donuts have me and you eaten together in like the 1 year of us hanging out? So just throw that number up there when you figure it out. At least 3 dozen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
58. That's awesome.
Yeah,
So-
I enjoy donuts, but it's because they're like a vehicle for the toppings that are on it, which is
Oh
usually
my
like
God.
chocolate and caramel and stuff like that. So
I love like the cream filled donuts, man. Like, oh, Krispy Kreme, they make the best donuts, in my opinion.
And you know, honestly, if you really wanted to eat a healthy donut, like Krispy Kreme's glazed donuts, like you'll be able to fit those in your macros.
Yeah.
I forgot what they're off the top of my head, but it's like
I think they're 10 fat.
it's like I want to say it was 9 fat, like it comes out to 190 calories. It's like a couple protein, 9 fat, and I don't know, 20 carbs or something.
It definitely won't ruin the macros. You can fit it in for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
So are there any specific questions on Facebook Live for people? Are they asking?
No, we were answering a lot of those as we went, so I don't see any more questions about anything else. So,
Well, dude, I appreciate you guys getting on here like that. I'm telling you, people could watch this video, and it would save them a lot of money and a lot of time. So
well, I mean, there's people I respect in the fitness community, like Matt Ogus, but they sell this training pyramid and all this stuff, and it's just like, I'll show you how I'm working out. It doesn't mean necessarily you're gonna get the same results as me, because I told you about earlier. It's the intensity and all that stuff that goes into working out. And you know, I'll help you calculate your macros, and you know, we do online coaching where we do macros for people and we do weekly check-ins and stuff like that.
We don't necessarily like advertise it, because it's just I see it as people are going to approach you because they want to. You don't need to approach other people about you know, they should be fit like me. You know, we don't need money from this endeavor. We have we have good jobs, we're happy, and so we just want to share with
everyone.
Yeah.
And then you guys keep providing value, and you're going to provide so much value. Everybody is there. People are going to be knocking down your doors.
Yeah, I mean, what I want now is people to tell us what they want us to make on Fridays, so we can have food. So.
And that's the thing. Like, so for anybody who's watching the replay, anybody on Facebook Live, like, we both have YouTube channels, and in the YouTube channels, it's just providing consistent value to the people. You guys are doing great at the recipes, and like, I've watched a few of your videos, and just the value you provide in your videos is incredible, right? So for anyone who wants to, like, for the recipes or inspiration, tips, working out and stuff like that, you can check out both YouTube channels. We'll actually, there's a way to drop it in a link in here. So I'll promote the YouTube channels in here, and then through Facebook Live in the comments. Okay, so that way people can check out both channels and stuff like that. Was there anything specific you guys wanted to add before closing out?
Yeah, we got a question that says the most outrageous but macro-friendly burger you can come up with. So you can take Krispy Kreme.
Wait. No, she wants us to do that for our Friday night foods.
Oh wait, do you want to do that for Friday? I was like about to name one. You could take Krispy Kreme glazed donuts as the bun, put a burger in the middle of that, and like you can do that.
We'll do it.
It's outrageous, but it's macro-friendly. But if you want to be like healthy macro-friendly, we can do that too. I know some people actually. I saw some interesting thing where people using like rice cakes as the buns, like cheddar rice cakes. So we may test that to see if it's any good. Because I mean, I like putting chips in my burger, so it'd be kind of like the same thing.
That'd be interesting for sure. I'm going to keep an eye out on Friday's video.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, look, man, I appreciate y'all's time. I appreciate your knowledge. I even learned a little bit, man. It was incredible. Like, and that's what I love about these, man. We all learn from each other, and we all grow together. So we definitely have to schedule another one of these, in the next month or something. And I look forward to seeing you guys' growth. I mean, you guys are growing like crazy. The followers and the community that you guys have is consistently involved and engaged with what you're doing. And that's incredible.
Yeah. I love when people want to ask questions and we were able to answer them. So I love that. So thank you, Joel, Rachel, Connor, Lauren, who else? Martha asked questions, and everyone else.
We love it. We absolutely love it. That's our favorite thing to do is answer questions.
Yep.
And if we don't know the answer right away, we'll look it up for you. So. And
then make an awesome video on it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool, man. I appreciate y'all's time, and we'll get together soon and definitely do it again.
All right. Thanks for having us.
Y'all are awesome, man. We'll talk to you later.
All right. Later.
Bye.
Thanks for joining.